so much for that input. That is powerful because of the heliport that we knew. I knew of it. I knew things used to happen there. But now I asked him even Watson, and Watson doesn't know what I'm talking about. Anyway,
Yeah, there was one.
Yes, let me go.
Can I just one more thing?
Let me go back to Avanell a little.
Yeah, but that wasn't A&R Robinson.
Can I just before I go, one more thing. Dr.
Yeah.
Duke talked about
Mary.
Okay.
Yeah. You are.
I'm watching you.
Let's let her finish before she forget. You know how you ladies after menopause get. Let you finish your word as she will.
You see me? You're gonna look for trouble.
We're talking about the pollution of the water. It is well known in Tobago House of Assembly that every beach facility in Tobago that has a changing facility where they toilet facilities, that all the beaches in Tobago that possess one is contaminated with feces. All. Mm-hmm. It is a study that was carried out by WASA in Tobago, where they went around all those beaches and took samples of the water. And all those beaches are contaminated with feces.
What's the other thing with Charlotteville?
That's why they can't send the fish here.
Yeah, what's the other thing? In Charlotteville, Coco, remember where they sell the fish itself? There's literally a sewer line that you look into it, you see sewage heading out into the water right next to where the guys sell the fish.
Yes.
That's disappointing. And it's not the guys who are selling the fish's fault. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying as a community, when you come up there as a politician or whenever you're doing a drive around as a chief second the BMW, do you not see that there's raw sewage heading into the ocean there alongside where your fishermen are selling fish?
Mm-hmm.
And one thing we have to
it is known. It is well known.
When those tourist ships and things coming or passing through Charlotteville, they should not be polluting our ocean.
Yeah, but how do we actually test that? Is our Coast Guard actually checking? Like, how do we actually check?
Well, this is why we have my show.
Yeah, who's checking? Who's monitoring? Do you know?
I am not 100% sure.
Can you tell us that it's only a matter of time before we will see another land movement, landscaping, landslide reaction in Delaford because they need to go back and fix Delaford?
Absolutely.
2 minutes.
I mean, forever since I have been a child, Delaford has always somewhat sat on unstable lands, and it's because of the water system and how close we are to the main ridge. We see a lot of...
And that is water above the people.
Absolutely. It's above the villages. If you go as far up on the highest point of Delaford, which would be going up into Windsor Local Road on the top portion of Gully and go around, even to come back around to the bottom, all those portions of land has water further up beyond that hill. And there's a lot of tree cutting going on up there. And if you don't divert water in the correct way, when it comes to your water system, the bridges, and, even going in and cleaning out the gullies and removing trash, having trash removal from those places, that pileup is going to cause serious issues. And that pileup has continually had issues for years. We have people going up and illegally mining the mud during Carnival season. They're illegally mining the mud in our rainforestry.
Wow.
Yes, it's a big issue. And not only are they doing that, they are cutting down of our forestry. You can't cut and not plant back. I was always taught that by my great aunt, if you cut one, you have to plant one. And that is not what they're doing.
Yeah, that's beautiful. You know what? That's another missed opportunity there, right? So if you cut one, you plant one, and that should be starting from nursery school. So that's one. The other is actually, instead of people having to illegally mine mud, that should have been a whole industry right there, right? The mud.
Yes.
You identify places with the mud, and then you market mud mass in Tobago and the health benefits of mud mass. Like, look into the benefits and actually
Of mud.
And actually start talking to the people who do mud mass every year and figure out what health benefits maybe they seem to have compared to other people who don't play mud mass. That's the scientist in me. But we have so many built-in amazing things. I know here I go giving out all those ideas. Mommy usually tells me don't talk.
Don't talk. The mud.
But missed opportunities.
Free.
Right?
Mud be treated before you put it on your body to play mass. So all them diseases and itching women they have down there sometime after carnival, and they have yeast infection.
Yeah, we don't know, right? That's the thing. Nobody's actually gone and looked to say, okay, these are the places that are safe to take mud from. So instead of just leaving it to be hidden and secret, actually legalize the thing, regulate it a little bit, and then identify where are the good spots, identify it's environmentally safe. Yeah, so you can say, okay, this area, just as how we have hunting season for animals, you can have mud mining season, but it's this inability to think outside the box that, and again, this isn't specific to one regime. It's just, where is that level? I think part of it is they have the people, but they're not in the positions to actually meaningfully address the issues.
Where is the love?
Where's the love? And I think that's the problem, right? Because
where is the love?
It's
Departmentalize the love. Tell me what love is.
Right.
Where in Tobago governance under the People's National Movement have you ever been able to define love? Where is the love?
Yes.
Our Prime Minister is a geologist. And I have Avanell now trying to show people about mountain range and water flow and water basin, water level, rocks, sedimentary rocks, what other rocks. We have a Prime Minister who taught me geography, but he's not exercising his geographical technique in our country. He's lost.
But that's his love for Tobago.
And it kind of comes back to the issue with Charlotteville in the water system. And it's not just Charlotteville, because it's something that I noticed going down towards Storby, that little place there, I don't want to call names, that little place there before you hit Storby, they do the same thing. All their sewers go into the water. I think something like that needs to be mandated
and be fined.
What is
to be fined
doing? What is our sanitation department? They need to be going out. They need to be going out and monitoring these
farmers. Some of our pig farmers, they don't have a system. All the stools and waste going into the sea
and the rivers. Right. And this is the thing, they should be using that countrywide, because we're going into agriculture. You have farmers who have their waste. Donate that waste and have maybe a compost heap where other farmers could get access to that fresh manure to use within their planting system. But when you dump it in the water, it's killing our fisheries. Why can't we create a sewer system? Back in the days, we used to have those are the sewer holes where you know it should run in
spit and soak away.
And then you have someone come and pick it up. Why is that not being done for these facilities?
Then you can use the manure from that, because they use the
Yes.
And the same thing can be done.
You guys know that in a soaker way, the stools doesn't be all over any. It at the top, the bottom, the water.
It's sludge.
Yes. It sinks.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Keino. Well, we have the boss now. We have the only man right now is Keino. Keino, you are up with your comments.
Well, I mean, I really enjoyed the panel today. I think we talked about a variety of things. I'm not even gonna use the term love, because it's politics, and
use the word. Use the word love.
No, I'm not gonna use the word love, because
love means, listen, the question is here for you. Everybody else answer it this way. What does love mean for the Tobagonian?
Well, let me say something, right? while it's yes politics, we're trying to address the word that the people on the street actually use every time as justification for choices, which is they do believe that they're loved. And so the first question is pointing out to them what love looks like, right? Before you can actually attack, I think, the politics, is you have to actually associate the politics you're attacking with what love should look like so that they can start realizing what love isn't.
But they're lacking.
I think, you know, it's the same,
Okay, I got you.
it's the same approach as an abused or battered woman, right? Who stays because he loves her. After he bruises her face, he'll then come and kiss it and put ice on it. He loves her and he's sorry that he harmed her. But the bottom line is the violence is escalating and he might kill her. So that's what we're talking about.
Okay. Love is patient. However, we don't have patience for 20 years after we've seen what has been taking place over 20 years. Love is kind, okay? In how you deal with people on an everyday basis. And I mean, clearly this has to be, you're looking at simple things like, I mean, the everyday things that we're talking about is people's gratuity and pension. When somebody work and they retire, that should take probably 3 months to get that. So love is kind. Love is not puffed up and rude. Okay, so I will give you that as well too about love. So we shouldn't be boasting about the things that we're supposed to be having for normalcy in a society, like schools and hospital. Those are things that just are supposed to exist without us questioning them, without politician boasting about we did that and brought it for you. So love is not puffed up and boasting. Love is not arrogant. Look at the person that we have for a prime minister who is completely arrogant. So love is absolutely not arrogant. Love endures all things, but we shouldn't be enduring the suffering of the People's National Movement for the next 20 years, because this is what we're asking our children to accept, not only from just it's what they're asking them to accept. That's why they could say that I can belong to this political party until I'm dead. It doesn't matter how they're treating me. And what that looks like when you're scrolling Facebook and you see people looking for jobs and positions and so on, and they're not getting them because a group of people have just been recycled. Again, love is not rude. Okay, now you want to talk to the people of Tobago after you done pass a bill in Parliament on Friday. Now you want to bring the 12 assemblymen together. So when I think of love, I think about that agape love, and I'm not the expert in that. That's Pastor Mitchell's what do you call it? But I think I did that to the best of my ability.
So right, let me give you.
So anything concerning Charlotteville that you don't like,
well,
that was better before?
Well, I mean, what can I say? Like Charlotteville remains politically, I would say it remains a divided community. What I can say is that it remains a divided community because politics have divided our community. But I know, and from what I've experienced in the times and as an adult that I've spent in Charlotteville, that Charlotteville people still have that spirit of community. However, it must be demonstrated at all times. And it shouldn't be when just somebody dead everybody running and coming. Yes, you need people at that time. And I'm grateful for all the times people run and come to us when that's what we experience. But in terms of that community spirit, whereby we can really be looking out for other people's children, and wanting for them exactly what we want for our kids and ourselves. And I think if we are able to recapture those things, that essence of community, we can bring back because it says community, there's a unity there, and I think that's where the blessing that God commands, his blessing, where there are places of unity. So that's just my spiel on that.
Do you think that the people of Charlotteville are being treated well when it comes to water supply?
Well, I think that we need to really understand our water resources that we have in Charlotteville, and we live on the hill. And before we have about 5 tanks on our house, and before we did that, I mean, it was a struggle for getting water in the house. I mean, mostly it was my aunt and my 2 grandparents. It was a struggle. Not having water in the taps for 2 or 3 days, it was a struggle. But what I know, just because based on the geography of Charlotteville, we need to properly audit our water resources. All over Tobago, we need to properly audit our water resources. You can literally count how much gallons you have, how much gallons you're expecting based on average rainfall. There is the technology out there to do that. And then we need to provide a proper distribution system for that.
You have a homework to do. See if you can investigate how many people die in Charlotteville from cancer from the last 10 years to now. And we're going to see our water function.
It's been happening a long time.
I mean, what I can say of that in regards to homework, because here's what, I'm not going to do that homework. What I'm going to just speak off of some anecdotal evidence that I've seen. I've seen pockets of cancer.
Are you telling me that you're not going to do the homework?
No, because I think the evidence is already out there. I've seen.
For today, we can't go into that depth, so you will keep it.
Yeah, but I've seen that pockets of cancer sprung out in certain places and so on, and there needs to be, I think Dr. Duke might be more aligned to this, but there needs to be a lot of more proper investigation, specifically around environmental factors that lead to the prevalence of cancer. And it's not only Charlotteville, it's Charlotteville and Speyside as well too.
I will have it. So Avanell will talk to us about Speyside File. You're not coming on my show, not accepting my calls. So Avanell will. No, I'm talking, you know. The white people can't understand me. I'm a plain talk. I don't lie. And I don't make up myself. You understand me? I valued Brother Fari and his depth of knowledge. And he came on my show twice and he teased my audience and they want him back. But he's not responding. Maybe he's too busy. I'm not going to bring him back to talk about politics too much. His wealth of information is what I need, and I don't want to talk for myself. So I am telling you now, Keino, that I could call one family in Charlotteville that die out very young, the Campbells.
And when I was speaking to you, I mean, that's I know that exactly, because when I'm in Charlotteville, where my office is, it was right next to those people's home in Charlotteville. So
instead of just burying the Campbells, an investigation should be be done on the land.
Well, what I was alerting to is the whole idea right in that area there, that pocket there.
That was me. So I think, you know, there's environmental impacts, but there's also genetics, right? Especially when it comes to cancer. When it comes to cancer, we actually talk about something called the 2-hit hypothesis, which is a cell actually needs to be hit twice before it'll transform into a cancer cell. And so for some people, they're born with the first hit, which is they're already born with a genetic hit that predisposes them to cancer. And then you just need one more thing to happen from their environment, from exposure to radiation, from something they ate regularly, to become the second hit, and now they have cancer. And so that's how you can see clusters of cancers in families, because they were born with this first hit and they passed that hit on to kids. So, like, if you're bringing up a family, that might be one of the things, though, right? And I do think Tobago has lots of clusters where we can actually inform the world of science, meaning the 8 billion.
I'm having a call coming in here, but I can't take the call. But you guys know that I am being blessed.
Yes, you have to go do your acupuncture, yeah? Right? Is that?
Yes, I see Winston is calling me. He went for a walk. I hope nothing didn't happen, but I believe it
No,
happened.
he's fine. He's fine. It's just that. So anyway,
Get ready.
you asked me for my closing statement, but since I inserted myself into the conversation, I'm going to give myself a closing statement because you can't end the show unless I hit end. So I'm going to speak. And so
first, Keino, you have something that we will talk about next.
Well, what I just wanted to mention there too, when you brought up the Campbells and so on, that was like within a family, but within that area where they live, from my own anecdotal evidence, there is like a cluster there, because like within the past 3 years, I can literally go back and count on my hands evidence of people, one neighbor there that literally died from cancer. So I think there's anecdotal evidence out there. What we really need now is the actual research evidence to say,
That's right.
there is a cluster of something out here.
You know, what you're saying is you actually do have homework to do.
Yeah.
Yes, Keino. You have to do that research.
I love today's conversation. I'm sorry I inserted myself, but I really wanted to make sure.
We glad.
I really wanted to make sure we brought it home because we got to start digging deeper than the surface. And I think people tune into your show for that reason, but I also do it because we've been tracking the show's viewer demographics. And while we have a lot of people in TNT who are watching, we also have a lot of people watching from the diaspora, and that's the diaspora not just in the US or in Europe, but we have people really from very far-reaching places. And I think it's great to keep themes and broad themes, but also to dive deep, because if you dive deep, then people can really appreciate an issue. I also wanted to jump in because in the past 7 days, I've been a part of a number of conversations of public discourse on different platforms. And I've been a little bit surprised, Coco, by what I've heard some people from Trinidad and Tobago saying, which is, Trinis were natural ambassadors for our country, right? We naturally get on stages and we start talking about Trinidad and Tobago and telling people, come to my country. And yet, very quickly, we also caveat when the people actually take us up on it. And they say, oh, yeah, I have always wanted to go there. And we'll say, well, don't go without me because I'll tell you the good places to go. Which means we're skirting around the problem that we know we have, right? Which is we want to tell people come, but we also know that people won't necessarily be safe all by themselves. And if that's the case, then we should be advocating for change, right? And if you're home in Trinidad and Tobago and you want me to be abroad and speak up my homeland, which I'm always eager to do, I shouldn't have to speak up, but be speaking up in a guarded way, where I'm also saying, but be careful. Where I'm telling people, go to Trinidad for Carnival, but make sure you go with a group. That shouldn't be the follow-up statement. And we need to get to the bottom of this so that we can ask for meaningful change. Because if you're going to ask me to be a de facto ambassador without anything, I'm just proud to do it because we're just so proud of our country because we were raised to be proud. Then I need to see that you're showing the love of country when you're there on country, that I can talk about it abroad and be proud to tell people, yeah, you can buy a ticket and land, because I shouldn't have to tell people don't go unless you go with me when they could just go on Orbitz or Expedia or whatever and buy a ticket.
I want to drop something on Pastor Wendy here. She will get hit right now. Pastor Wendy have a church in Jamaica, but she ain't get a church in Trinidad.
I'm waiting for all the crabs in the barrel to be curried with some
So you see what Dr. Duke talking about?
Well,
we want people to
Love
go,
the answer.
but we can't go. We can't take people because the place ain't
I've
safe.
lost it.
They're not solving crimes. Imagine that. It's a whole crime and solve here. A big, broad, open crime like that.
Mama Coco, if we're going to be real about this thing, we're going to be real about this thing. We know that's a whole different story, talking about nationals living abroad, coming back home to do anything. Immediately, that's a wall that goes up.
London invite people to come home, and when they reach home, all will turn his back on people. I have my cousin in Canada. She went down until she come. That girl sell her house.
What would you say?
Land.
It's a mindset. It's a mindset that we would rather have it rotten under us rather than have somebody who belongs to the same island come and do something to try to better the island. We've got to get out of that mentality.
Part of the issue.
When you change, you have to change the who is there. Orville London was in London. People approached him in the High Commission when he came over. People support. People come out from everywhere. People were saying, we want to come back. What can we do? His words, when he started to speak and say things that I said, wow, you are the guy that has Tobago that way. That was my conclusion. He was not encouraging.
He was my teacher in high school.
Yeah, well, he can teach, but he don't know nothing else.
My teacher in high school. Listen, people are just people.
Take away from his teachings.
No, that's what she's saying. She said people are just people. She's saying that who he is from when he was.
Yeah.
Well, he was a teacher and he did a good job. But in terms of a leader and a manager and a person for change, he doesn't have it. And the problem with Tobago is that everybody who were teachers would leave their job and then decide to go into politics. And why did they go? Is it to make a change, or is it to increase their pockets?
Was it for love of people or love of pocket?
Here's the thing, right?
Therein lies the answer.
They have one reason why they go into politics, and then the people have their other reason for voting the politician. So people tend to vote name recognition. They tend to vote people who they saw in positions of leadership. For the majority of us in Tobago, who are the people we saw in positions of leadership? The teachers, right? We, amazingly, and I hope it still happens, we did hold teachers in very high esteem. Yes. And we should continue that. But that is why it makes a natural progression for a teacher, because that's the person you probably trusted the most outside of your household. It was your teacher. So they come with built-in trust. So now your trust and your love for them is why you vote for them. The question is, did they actually see you as that? Or did they still see you as the problematic community that they hated having to work with or teach, right? And I don't think the people actually question them in that way. It's simply, that was my teacher, I like them.
Did you see them as a sexual partner then? So right now you're getting into politics. They come into politics with you and still see them.
Okay, somebody has something playing.
Or did they still see you as the problematic community that they?
So somebody has their video or their phone playing in addition to the computer, because of course there's a delay from when we talk in studio to what plays out there. I think the other thing, right? So I think the other thing that we have to ask, I would say, ask the audience, is start looking around your own communities, whether it be Trinidad, elsewhere. But definitely, as you look, we're going to ask you Trinidad to think of Tobago. And I know those of you in Trinidad are going to be like, we're suffering on our own. Why do we have to think about Tobago? But I think that's part of the problem, is instead of just seeing Tobago as a take, ask yourself, what is it that Tobago, whatever place in Tobago you like visiting a lot, ask yourself, why do you like visiting it? And then ask yourself if your reason for liking it is being served for the people who live wherever you like. Right? And because I know for some of us, that's our problem, right? We like visiting sleepy Delaford. We like to leave busy New York and land in sleepy Delaford for 10 days, 2 weeks, and return to busy New York. But what we have to ask ourselves is sleepy Delaford working for people who live in Delaford, right? As opposed to sleepy Delaford that I visit. Because Delaford can still have a certain level of sleepiness, and the word is intentional. If you're living in Tobago and you feel like sleepy Delaford is insulting, drive through Delaford after 7 p.m. at night and see if I'm lying, right? And so the sleepy Delaford is what people who come in might be looking for in their short stint, but what does the person in Delaford want? Same question for Charlotteville.
But they get me angry. Because all them prime minister and Orville and them just go to like Charlotteville, fisherman, they go into Speyside and they passing down back late at night.
Yes.
What do they see?
Well, it's good though, because maybe if you're passing with people hidden in the car, if the village is sleepy, nobody would see who's, snuck in.
No, I don't mind that. No.
So I think.
Cindy, listen to your mommy. There is go THA motorcade,
Yes.
Escorted by police cyclists, police car light flashing, and these hooligans just pass through the country.
So I guess that's a good question, right? Is it that they see a false sense of the village because maybe the villagers come out to wave at them, so they think, oh, it's alive? Why are you getting angry, Coco? Let's breathe and let's talk about non-violent community.
I am breathing.
Right? So
when they go to Fisherman's Place, they just go up for like 6 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Maybe let's ask the mindset of the politician then, because maybe, again, if we're talking about that sort of colonial master-servant setting, they're driving through exactly maybe that's the way they need the people to be, right? Because that's what lets you know they're submissive, they're subservient, they're right. So that's the other question. Like I said before, what is it that the politician is looking for? Because we're talking as the people who know what we expect from a politician, but I don't know many people have asked their politician, what are you expecting to do for me? What are you expecting to see when you come to my village? Like,
they ask $2 for the victory care, and there is $6 for people with a waving out to PNM, but they're still watching the village dead. I don't know how people.
Well, here's the thing. I have one more thing for you. It's the reason why Delaford is dead is because you actually have something to compare it to, meaning the Delaford of before. For a lot of these people driving through Delaford, even the ones from Tobago, they've never been on that side of the island before. These
Melville used to play cricket in the east.
Melville is maybe an exception, but even when he used to play cricket in the east, you're talking about what, 1960, right? When was he playing cricket? Was he playing cricket in 1990? Was he playing in 2000?
Listen to me. No. Don't go there. But you know what I'm talking about.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. So, okay, Orville is an exception, but I'm talking about all the others. I'm talking about Shamfa, okay?
Okay. You have to end it here. Thank you so much. I want to thank
I'll leave my teacher alone.
I want to thank all my guests. You guys are so vibrant, so talented. And a lot of you know that you're coming back. So what you know that we miss, get yourself sharpened, and we are going to have another of this show. Peace, everybody.
We're ready to do something.
Father, we want to thank you for each and everything. And may the peace of Almighty God continue to reign among us. May we elevate ourselves according to our wisdom that we seek and our knowledge with understanding. Peace, everybody. God bless.
God bless you, Mama Coco.
Sorry for the rush.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
You will finish it.
Bye.
You don't have
Bye. Thank you, Dr. Duke. You were awesome today.
No, she will finish the show. She will talk to you guys and she will end the show.